Hey everyone, in this video we're going to go over how to use the Clay Chrome extension in order to scrape data from a page. Now there's three situations that you would be scraping data from in the Clay Chrome extension. Either we've already mapped the data and we have a recipe ready for you to use. Number two, the list is auto-detected by the Clay Chrome extension. Or three, the list has to be mapped manually, which I'll go over at the end of the video. And so that's the exact order we're going to go in. So first things first, if you haven't downloaded the Clay Chrome extension, just type into Google Clay Chrome extension and add it to your Chrome extensions. As you can tell, I love Chrome extensions up here, so I have a ton. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to a Sales Navigator page. So on the Sales Navigator page, I'm just looking for people in the United States. Super, super simple. This is our example when we have already mapped this data. You can go to it anytime you'd like. So you see how it's already been mapped by Clay. So we're good to go. So also notice how it says see all 19 rows. This is all of the data that we've collected in a row format. And then if you want to see what columns we've collected, we have name, company, location, profile image, title and company, sales nav profile link, sales nav company. All of that information is already being collected. So the way that we can add to this information is we just scroll down to the bottom and let the page load. Sales Navigator has 25 rows on every page. So we'll let that and see how it jumped to 25 rows. Now we'll just click page number 2, and then we'll scroll through and let the page load. And as it loads, it will scrape more data for us and update that number. I think, let me start at the top. Yep, we got 42 rows. And let's go down to the bottom. Excellent. So now we have 49. One of them didn't load. Yeah, so now we have 50. So now we could keep going until we've fulfilled our list, of which we decide that we fulfill our list. We can click Add to Workspace, and it will open up a new tab for us where we will be able to enrich all of this data. Now, let's say that you've never visited the site before and you want to see if the Clay Chrome extension will detect the lists. Well, you could always give it a shot. So when it auto detects a list, it'll say this is an auto detected list. And so this is the Illinois Library of Corn Organizations. I've never been to this website before. None of the Clay team has ever been to this website before, but see how we already have an auto detected list of all of the commodity boards for apparently corn. And then again, you could click this button and then you'd add it to a workspace and you would open up your all of this data into one workspace. Oh, whoops. Let's bring this back. It's in the auto detected lists over here. Right. So we could hit add to workspace and all of that data would be added into a workspace over here. Now, finally, we have if you need to map the Chrome extension yourself, which is probably the most important part of the video. This is how you would do it. So I purposely am using this page because this page is very odd to scrape. And it's odd because it has unstructured data-ish up here, and then it gets into very, very structured data. And so what I mean by that is Wise is this big card, Row is this little card, Trade.io is this big card, Ironclad is a big card, Dashlane is this little card. This is not structured the same exact way. And I'm starting here because I wanted to point out that all of the data needs to be structured the same way in order for this to work. So we're going to scroll down to the structured data. I'm going to map this, and then at the end of the video, I'll try mapping this and show you what I mean by the unstructured data. So let's just scroll down and let's pretend that the data starts at this row, at Smart Car. What we would do is we would open up our Clay table, and we would, and now in view data, there's not going to be anything because we have no recipes. If we auto detect it, we can check, but does it get everything that we want? No, not really. It's a little unstructured. How did it start with Wise? Where are all these things? It didn't quite get us everything that we wanted, and there's too much information in here. So what we would do is instead of view data, we would hit select data. So now when we select this data, what we can do is it's going to say match recipes to all URLs like angel.co/discover/startups. If you were to open this up, this is the formatting that you'd be able to use. So angel.co is the main domain, and then the URL path is the thing that would need to be matched. So if you want to do this for Yelp, of course, you would just put in, you know, colon and then business name, and then that's exactly what it would be. But we don't have to get into that because this isn't that complicated. We're only going to be scraping this page. So what we would do is now we would click select data to add from page. We can select a single attribute or we can select a list. And in this case, we're going to be selecting a list because there is a list of things that we want to collect from this page. So we would hit select a list. And now what I like to do is in this step, what we're doing is we're telling it like, hey, this data is structured. I'm proving it to you right now. So I like to click one thing like the title and then go into the next card and click the title again. This could still work if all you do is click this text down here, but it might get a little messy and it's just far easier if you just keep it the same. So right now, all that we're doing is mapping it and saying, hey, here's the structure of the data. So then we click and now this is done. And I'm going to name this angel list. There are two L's. Oh, I guess angel.co example. Now, we haven't added anything to our list yet. In order to add things to our list, we have to select a list item attribute to add. So we click that, and now we're going to click on the title again. And so we're going to call this company name, and it's text, so we're going to add this attribute. And now see how all of the attributes that match that have been added to my list preview. Now, if I wanted to add another attribute, because I want this description right here, I would hit add attribute, and then I would grab the car API for developers, and then I'm going to say description. Whoops. And then I'm going to hit add attribute. And now we get smart car, the car API for developers. Unite us, health happens in communities, right? And so all of this data is matching. We can now, we need to name the list again. And now we can hit save changes. Now we have all this information and now it's all scraping correctly. And we can click view more startups. And just like in Sales Navigator, as more information loads, more of it gets added to our scraped table. So at any point, you could decide I want to add this to my workspace, and it would open up a Clay table with all of that data already found in your workspace. Now, if push comes to shove and you can't figure it out on your own, you can always ask Clay to map this page, and we will work on it for you because we are obviously more familiar with this tool than most. So these are the basics of using the Clay Chrome extension in order to scrape data from a page. Let me know if you have any questions, or as always, join our Slack community at clay.com/Slack, where you can get all of your answers questioned by the Clay team or some other power users of Clay.